in Mexico. Today, my two guests are both from Koh Young America. We've got Ramon and Enrique. Ramon is country manager, I believe.
Yes.
And Enrique takes care of the service team throughout Mexico. I was just saying before we came on camera, I spoke to Juan Arango, your GM for the Americas, and he was really giving a big shout out to the service team, Enrique, as their heroes through the pandemic. It must have been quite a challenge to get everybody to all those different facilities where they were needed. How difficult has that been?
Okay, Phil. Yes, it was so difficult for us because many customers didn't allow us to get inside to the plants, and most of my guys were traveling a lot. I mean, driving instead of flying, because you know the pandemic give us some restrictions for flight and visit the customers. So many of my engineers were driving and making the impossible to help them with their issues.
Yeah, and I guess you've got a couple of benefits there. You've got a pretty large deployed team across Mexico, and you also have the capability of doing some remote servicing. How important were those two things?
Yeah, they definitely. One of the lesson learned for us and for the customer as well is that the remote service or remote connections are very important for us and for them to fix very quickly with their request for service. And to be honest, the customers learn that they have a capabilities for fix the issues by themselves, and they use my team for remote service, and mostly they find out that most of the issues they couldn't fix it very fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good, isn't it? And I think lessons learned from the pandemic is a real theme going across. Ramon, when you look at the business over the last 12 months, give me a kind of high level view of what that's been like and how you've been able to adapt to this different normal.
Yeah, as you know, travel restrictions has been going on since last year. But I will say at the end, in Q4 last year, it was a little bit better, as well as the business has been picking up a lot since Q4 2020, and then Q1, Q2 has been great. 2021, actually, we're seeing record quarters. But in the same aspect that we were talking about service, we realized as a sales team that sometimes it's not needed to be traveling every week, or if you are going to do a visit, you can do a video conference as we are doing right now, and it's as effective as being in front of the customer. However, being away from the customer for so long, you also miss the customer. And it's good that they miss you as well, because now we have some customers that say, hey, now the doors are open, please come by and visit us. So just to talk about business, to catch up. Yeah. So I think that part is still needed in the sales process.
Yeah, I mean, that face-to-face is essential. And I think what we learned with trade shows going online is there's a certain amount that you can do online. You know, you can have online content, you can maybe present a new product, but there's no substitute to bumping into people in the aisles and having that very personal connection. And, you know, I spent a lot of time in Guadalajara, and we bump into each other in bars with, you know, teams from Flex, teams from J-Bill, teams from wherever. And that's very much part of the community there. So getting that back is going to be huge. When you look across Mexico at the whole process, how's it going in terms of getting everybody vaccinated, getting back to normal, getting the industry back to running at a decent rate?
The industry is doing good. I mean, the industry, as I mentioned, they're running at full capacity since Q4 last year. Some of the plants, they never stopped, basically, right? Maybe they were running slower in slower production rates, but they really never stopped. The vaccination process in Mexico, I think, is good comparing to other countries of the world. Maybe is not as good as US, which is, I guess, the most advanced on the vaccination right now. But it is doing good. Is doing some good progress. So we finished already with the older people. Now it's going between the 50s, and then 3 months from now, the 40 years olds, and it goes like this, right?
Yeah.
But the process is going well. We are seeing the number of cases for COVID going down like super low right now. Mexico, most of the states, Guadalajara, for example, is in green light. So that's a good sign that you're seeing recovery. And together with that recovery is also all the business, all the activities that is picking up pretty good.
Yeah, Enrique, your team are obviously in a special situation. They need to get out amongst people. Were there any opportunities to get them vaccinated early, or any particular precautions that they needed to take?
Unfortunately, my team have not opportunity to take in advance this vaccine. Because in Mexico we are having something like a groups for this process.
The age groups,
yeah, and most of my engineers are in the age of 40s, I believe, and we are waiting for that process, and unfortunately we don't have that opportunity in Mexico to get it.
It's really interesting, Enrique. It's a good case for hiring some 50+ engineers in the future to make sure you have that opportunity. A few more gray hairs in the business never goes amiss.
Of course.
Actually, we have a couple of them, so I think they will get it pretty soon.
Yeah, they'll get there.
Most of the people is pretty young. Yep.
And Ramon, as you said, you're seeing a solid recovery in terms of sales, and actually you mentioned record quarters. Do you think that's partly a benefit of the reshoring trend we're seeing, and people are adding the China plus one, and actually China looking to, and Asia generally looking to Mexico as an investment opportunity?
Yes. I will say it's a mixed field. As you know, Mexico for a lot of years has been, most of the industry is automotive. So a big part of the industry, I wouldn't say most, but that business sector is recovering. Actually, is recovered, I will say. I shouldn't say it's recovering. It's totally recovered at full speed. Together with that, we are seeing some investments in semicon industry, which in Mexico is not huge, but we have a huge customer in Mexico that is specialized in semicon, and they are also doing investment on that area. Together with that, part of my territory is South America, Costa Rica, but in Costa Rica there has been also several investments for semicon. So that is great. That is helping. And together with that, all the EMS companies, Jabil, Flex, and Minas, all of these guys are picking up pretty good on different segments, like not only automotive but also industrial and home appliances. So yeah, it's really looking pretty good. We are seeing numbers compared to 2020 2018, 2019, that, you know, those years were pretty good for the industry in general worldwide. So we are comparing our results right now with those years that we observe very good trend.
Yeah. And do you think that's because the business fundamentals were good and that's why the pandemic has had a shorter impact on the economy? Or do you think it's government incentives that are helping? What do you think is the key to that recovery? I mean, I know you're not an economist, but just your gut feel on the ground.
I think it's just the market feel. We last year we observed that a lot of the investment was basically stopped from all the companies. So they needed to invest, and they just cut everything, right? They didn't want to spend. So it's a lot of that money that they have had in the pocket. So now they are investing. But we are seeing also new businesses, like I mentioned, for all these segments. In a lot of companies, EMS companies, they are going through old equipment replacement. What we are seeing also, previous years, we were not seeing that. Again, maybe 2019, 2018, we were not seeing that, a lot of that equipment replacement, old equipment. We are seeing it this year.
Right.
So it's a combination together of the new investment segments. Yes. Some companies realize, okay, we need to, you know, move the old metal and put new gear in the factory. So all these little aspects are adding point by point to see these numbers, I think.
Yeah, and obviously the growth of EVs, particularly electric vehicles in the automotive industry, and the amount of electronic manufacturing in that. And I think also what I'm seeing is that car makers are working directly with some of the EMS companies for the EV supply chain, and that's creating some additional opportunity, which is interesting.
It is, and also just to complete your question, part of the investment is companies from China, as you mentioned. We have seen since last year, I would say maybe 6-7 companies that are opening facilities in Mexico as well. And these companies are from China, basically. So you're seeing their investments of 1 or 2 lines at the time, 3 lines at the time. So if we're lucky and we get the SPI AOI business, then that helps also.
Yeah, and that's quite a few machines. And interestingly, I guess because you're a global business and Koh Young Asia has a relationship with those companies already, you're already embedded in those businesses. So that's hugely valuable. Enrique, when you're out visiting these facilities, or your team are out visiting these facilities, you must be seeing quite an improvement in terms of their technology. You know, we talked about SPI, and now people are adding AOI, they're adding pre-reflow AOI, as well as post-reflow. They're adding THT inspection. There's quite a lot of technical advancement going on in Mexico at the moment. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, last year, sales and investment were slow, as you saw. But the service continue. You know, the machines are still running. So and my team were working together with the customers. And yes, we saw that SPI, AOI, PTH inspection is how to say, is growing a lot. It's growing a lot, and obviously we are having new customers that is like a mandatory to have these kind of inspections, you know?
Right. So you're seeing a demand from the OEM as well, where they're saying you need to have this inspection, you need to have this traceability.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? And Ramon, when you talk to new customers, are they seeing that technical advancement as being really important, particularly when they're challenged perhaps with, with some skill shortages, recruiting talent. They want technically advanced equipment. They want equipment that connects and uses stuff like K-Smart and AI to, to maybe make the jobs a little bit simpler for the operators.
Right. Yeah, so there's as you know, years ago it started with the Industry 4.0, right? And then this has been so many names: one-man operation, smart factory. At the end of the day, all the companies are looking to automate the line, so all the processes, equipment connectivity between all the line, beginning with the screen printer, SPI, pick and place. And then some customers adding extra capacity with pre-reflow inspection, together with the post-reflow. But also together with that, we have some other sectors of the manufacturing line, such conformal coating inspection, for example, or pin inspection. Before, there was not dedicated machines, for instance, for pin inspection, or customers were not trying to invest in those areas. And as you know, we have two new products, which is the KYP3, which is basically a pin dedicated inspection machine, but also conformal coating inspection machine. And you're seeing now, together with this investment that we are talking and we're mentioning, that a lot of customers are looking to automate everything. So adding inspection to the pins, to the conformal coating process, and their customers are becoming maybe more demanding or more quality driven, in where they are, for conformal coating, they are not looking for presence or absence, but they want to measure thickness, for example. And then for pin inspection, okay, now pin inspection, I want to make sure that everything is correct, all the placement for the pins, the height, the location. So you're seeing this extra inspection capacity that customers are adding to their process, together with the AI and all the automation that they're looking to do in the production lines.
Yeah. And Enrique, it becomes a much more data-driven process. I guess a lot of the work that you're doing is making sure that the data coming out the machines is accurate and can be used in the right way.
Yeah, of course. This data is obviously it's a big data. It's a big quantity of data, and this data is used mostly for improve the process. The performance machine, and our systems needs to be connected between this the same channel, using this data to improve each others.
Okay. And the other question I was curious about, Enrique, is when we talk about automation, are you finding that there are less operators per machine, or operators that are maybe in charge of more machines than you would previously see? Rather than one operator per Koh Young, you've maybe got one operator managing 2 or 3 machines?
Yes, Felipe, this is a good observation. And right now with this all automation that we are showing in the industry, the customers now are focusing to use less operators for these kind of inspections. Mostly they are trying to reduce the labor for this, and use one operator for several machines at the same time. And they are looking for a reduce the cost, and the data that we are generating for the process inspection needs to be collected in the same place. In this way, one operator can control and can decide or classify all the information, all the inspection results in the same place. It means that, for example, they can use one operator for several machines at the same time, and this is reducing this labor.
Yeah, and it's that constant drive for efficiency, that constant drive for better performance. And Ramon, that's what makes Mexico so competitive. It's not just about the value that you get from the labor that's available, the highly skilled labor at good prices. It's an economy that's driven with automation as well. So there's constant improvements there as well, and I think that bodes well for the future of Mexican manufacturing. Is that how you see things?
Yes, of course, I'm Mexican, so I will
A
speak
little bit biased.
pretty good about it. But no, something that I can observe is that the culture in Mexico is very process oriented and always looking to improve and really utilize the tools that are available in the market. And they are not afraid. We are not afraid. The companies are not afraid of testing new products, for example, right? So we recently, or since last year, we have auto programming, just to mention something, or KPO with the SPIs. So every time I'm as a sales go and promote these tools with the customers, they are not afraid to try it. So they say, okay, let's try it. Let's make it work. We get good feedback from them. And this helps the industry and their jobs to make it better and contribute to this process automation that we are talking about, right? And at the end of the day, when they compare their facilities in Mexico among all the other countries, when there are global EMS facilities, usually the position for the manufacturers in Mexico are very well positioned among the global factories that these companies have.
Yeah, there's certainly a strong commitment to that, and I see a lot of the large global players using Mexico to, as kind of a test bed for some of their Industry 4.0 strategies and some of their automation strategies, and that being very, very successful there. When you look at the recovery of manufacturing in Mexico, that's important for all the businesses, but it's important for the country as a whole and the economy. Do you think government, and we can talk about that from a national point of view, but also states like Jalisco, are they doing the right things in terms of incentivizing and really creating a playing field for you to be able to build a really positive and sustainable industry?
I think so, Phil. As you know Mexico pretty well, right? So if you see states like Jalisco, Aguascalientes, Querétaro, Guanajuato, so the last few years, if we see the charts and the statistics, there has been a lot of companies that has come to these states. Tijuana, for example, or Baja, there are also a lot of companies coming. So I think that's thanks to the good job doing by the governments and the promotion by the governors when they do or make their business trips and everything. So I think there's a huge contribution of the business and the companies that we are seeing that are moving to Mexico, or just not moving, but some of them, they're just doubling their capacity or their footprint in that area. So they're just doubling the capacity. Like, oh yeah, we just purchased that building in front, and we're going to put X amount of lines over there. Yeah. And all that is thanks to the government. And also there has been a huge improvement in the security in Mexico. As you know, that for years and years, that has been a big subject from Mexico. But we're seeing right now, most of the states and cities and everything are pretty safe. And that is also helping to see this investment from the outside.
Yeah, and it's basic infrastructure, isn't it? It's having the good road infrastructure, it's having the good transport infrastructure, it's feeling safe, it's having, good reliable electricity supply, good reliable internet, so you can
Yes.
remote access in. And some of those basics, if the government can get those right, it makes a big difference.
Yes, and you also seen from the hotels, right?
Hmm.
I remember years ago when I began going to Querétaro, so there was one or two hotels that you could stay over there.
Yeah.
Right now, you go there and you see all the brands of hotels that you want to stay, right? So that it speaks, okay, things are going well because a lot of the big brands for hotels are coming to this city, or you go
Yeah.
to a small city and then you see a big name over there. You say, oh my God. So one of the reasons is all the foreigners that are coming to that city to do business, right? So that's a good indicator when you begin to see new hotels and things like that. Oh yeah, this state is going well, is doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. And this question for both of you, I always saw the Koh Young team as a bit of a family. It always feels like everybody's trying to take care of each other. That's been really important through the pandemic. What have been the things that you've done differently in the pandemic that have actually, maybe improved the way you operate as a team? Enrique, maybe from a
Yeah.
point of view of the service team, have you, changed the way you communicate, changed the way you work together a bit more, made sure everybody's feeling okay about everything?
Oh yeah, Phil. From my perspective, obviously, as you say, we are a big family, and I am very proud about my guys because they try to continue visiting customers, helping the customers, and most important thing, they always take care by themselves, by
Mm-hmm.
their families, and I learned that these guys are like a superheroes because
Yeah.
they made the impossible, and from my perspective, this big company that is Kuyon every time was taking care, obviously trying to reduce the contact with the customers, uh, to protect the healthy, for our,
Yeah.
our 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 engineers and the customers as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? And Ramon, that need to check in with people, make sure everybody's doing okay for your
Yeah.
whole team, and you have a pretty substantial team across
Yes.
South America, across your region. How's that been? You've changed the way you communicate with people a little bit, maybe become more regular?
Um, Not really. To be honest, Phil, we always try to care about the people, that we
Mm-hmm.
really feel that the company cares about what is going on, right? Even before the pandemic, during the pandemic, of course, what was even you have to be a lot more careful, right?
Yeah.
How are you doing? How's your family doing?
Yeah.
So if there was any cases or difficult situation going through the family, not only like direct family like your wife or your kids, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you hear, oh, my grandfather is sick, he got the virus or whatever. So we were just like super open on that. you
Yeah.
know go ahead and take care of them, help them. Don't worry if you are not like 100% dedicated to the job. It's okay. So just go ahead and take care of your family. And we always been like that. So we
Yeah.
always try the people that they feel that we care. And that culture is coming not only from KYA, but also from Korea. So
Yeah.
it's a big family. But I think that's the key, that people
Yeah.
feels that they really care of what is going on.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's in the DNA of Koh Young, but actually it's also in the DNA of Mexico. That's one of the things I loved about being in Mexico. The sense of family, the sense of community is huge. And if you need help and you ask for it, you pretty much are guaranteed to get it. And that's that's was always one of my favorite things about spending time there. So I think that's very encouraging. So looking to the future, Ramon, you're pretty confident for the industry and the future of particularly of inspection in the market.
Yes, it looks pretty good. I will say in the next few years, I see companies will keep investing in inspection, and as difficult as is to believe, there are some companies without inspection yet. So still there's a lot of opportunities over there. And as we've been talking about the automation, AI, all this is helping. So right now is not an option, right? To have an SPI, AOI conformal coding. It is mandatory if you want to be competitive. If the EMS or contract manufacturers want to be competitive, then they need to invest. And you see that even with the small contract manufacturers, they make an effort, and we try to help where we can, with the additional incentives or things like that.
Yeah.
They say, well, if I want to be competitive, then I want to have Koh Young, right? I want to have this brand because it's recognized. But yeah, it's looking pretty well, and I hope it remains the same for Mexico, for the industry in general. But we're seeing good progress over there with that.
Yeah, no, it's very solid. It's and as you say, I think the need for that inspection and traceability and all that data is becoming table stakes for companies to be taken seriously and to compete. Guys, keep taking care of each other. Enrique, keep looking after that superhero team you've got. All the best for the future. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. I hope to see you soon in Guadalajara, so we can enjoy
in Guadalajara, or maybe in San Diego in January. If we can both get there, that would be wonderful.
Hopefully, that would be great. That would be great to see you there.
Thanks so much, guys.